In today's session, we are going to learn about Mirth Connect queue settings. It might look very simple and easy for us, but in real time, if we not use these settings properly, it will create a lot of issues in real-time production databases. So it's always good to learn about Mirth Connect queue settings and set it before even you go live perfectly, so you'll not face any problems in the future. Let's know why this is so much important and what is the priority of learning the queue settings. So always before learning to solve any particular thing, we should always create a problem. So that's our way of teaching. So we'll try to go and look into problems. So here I created two databases like Epic is sending, for example, ADT messages from Mirth to Cerner database. That's how it is. And let's see how we are going to work. For example, Epic is going to send around 10 patients of A01 messages. So I'll say 10 patients. And after that, after like few days or few hours, it's going to discharge all the patients. So for example, I'm going again saying that 10 patients discharge miss are being transferred. Okay, 80. I, that looks good. So it's very simple, right? We create a lot of channels. We use transformers, filters, and do a lot of changes. And the details from Epics will be crossing over to Cerner via Mirth. That looks very simple. Now I'll show you how queue settings will impact this process and how many blunders can happen in the production data with a small little change which is not perfectly used. So we'll go to our local Mirth Connect. What I'll do, I'll create two channels, Epic and Cerner. I'll go here in the trainings group, I'll right click and I'll click create a channel, Epic. It's very simple, okay? I'll create Epic and that's it. I will save and deploy it. I'm not going to do any changes. So similarly, again, I am going to create a new channel. We don't need any specific transformations and everything in this. This is just a queue settings explanation, so it will be focused on that part. Epic and Cerner. You got it right. So we created Epic and Cerner. Now we are going to connect this both. As we are not going to use a separate server, I'm going to directly route this channel details to Cerner. What I'm going to do for that particular thing, I'll create something like I'll go to Epic, I'll go to destination in the channel writer, I'll select this channel. The channel name would be Cerner. So I'm just searching a lot of channels which have been disabled. So perfect. And I'll save this and I'll deploy this channel. That looks good. So now whatever comes through Epic, it will be directly routed to Cerner. Remember, we are actually trying to act this particular channel as a server. So I will start it whenever required to create a real-time scenarios. That looks good. Now to test, we can look over our database. For example, you can take 10 A01s or 10 A03s. What I'll do, I'll go to my repository in GitHub. I will even paste the link over here, or it's a public repository. You can Google Rohit Chen's HL7 sample messages. I have added around 1,000 messages. That was the maximum limit. Different ADT scenarios, SIUs, MDMs, RDS, and everything. You can pull few of the sample messages. For our test scenario, I pulled around few A01 admit patients and A03 discharge patients. Okay, that looks good. What I'll do, I'll copy this path. I'll go to Mirth Connect. As we are sending the data from Epic, right? I'll use Epic source and I'll give it as file reader, which we have been doing from multiple videos, my favorite one. Okay, and even I will say poll once on start. This all things have been explained in the previous video, so don't get confused. This would be a different video altogether about queue settings. In the queue, I won't do anything. I'll just say, yeah, queue, and I don't do any changes. This is a stock setting from the Mirth Connect, so I am not going to do any changes. I'll save this, and I'm going to deploy this. Perfect. See, automatically anything which comes to Cerner, it is going to Epic. 15 messages are, sorry, anything which comes to Epic, it is going to Cerner. That looks good, right? That's amazing. And if I'll keep on, yep, that's perfect. And when you come over here again, you can see there are like 10 messages and you can see there are 50 messages over here. What the settings which we need to update is like it is for every 5 seconds it's running. So that's the reason for every 25 seconds it will be 50. So I'll change it to 5 hours. I'll keep it as 20, not a problem. I'll save this and I'll deploy this. That looks good. What I'll do, I'll remove all the messages for I'll clear the statistics for our testing purpose. That's perfect. Now here we are going to start our testing. We are going to test our 10 messages, which will go through neatly, and we'll see how this is going to work. So we are going to learn about queue settings, right? What will I do? I'll stop this particular thing. Okay, that looks good. And for example, in the test, I am going to remove this things. I'll delete this. Okay. So I'm going to send only this 4 admit messages. That looks good. And I'm going to Mirth connect. Now I'm going to stop and start this. So the message will be picked up. Start. Okay, I should actually stop the server. Perfect. I will stop and start the epic so the message will be picked up. I will start this. See, the message directly went to the queue over here, which is nothing but they have been errored out. The problem is we have the server in the stop state means, for example, in real time, what happens? The server application might be down from their end. The server might be not able to connect from Mirth. So in real time, that happens. So here, I created the same scenario. The server application is down. So all the 4 messages have been sent to the errored out position. So the problem is like whenever the server connection is up, automatically this 4 messages will not be sent to server again. For example, if I start it, the server has been started. That looks good. You see, these 4 messages are already in queue. But what Epic will think, Epic will think that they have admitted all these patients perfectly without any issues. But the problem is like over the night, these messages are still in queue. That's the problem where we face about queue settings. Now see how complicated this can become now. This is not yet a problem yet. This can become more complicated now. What will happen after like an hour or like after 4 or 5 days, or it can be very early as possible, another message types will be sent from Epic. For example, this Epic base. What will happen? This altogether, this messages will be removed from here. Okay, I'll delete them. So I'm going to paste admit transfer discharge message over here. For example, if the starting 4 or 5A patients have been sent, for example, 4 A01 patients have been admitted, which we can see over here. Now, after some time, Epic will discharge them, which is nothing but A03. So we have around the count 6 items over here, or else we can take only 4, not a problem. So, for example, if you think those are the similar patients which should be discharged, after some times, Epic will be sending the discharged patients to Cerner. Now, what will I do? I already pasted those 4 discharged patients. Okay, and I'm going to Epic. I will stop this. Okay, I'm sorry. I disabled this. It's not a problem. I am going to deploy this once again. Yeah, I'll deploy this. That's not a problem. Even that will start. So the problem is, you can see once after deploying, Epic is sending all the discharged patients to Cerner. Those have been transferred to Cerner. You got my point, right? What happened here is like when the downtime of the Cerner was there, all the 4 messages were in queue, okay, which are being errored out. Errored out. Now, when after Cerner is up, these messages are not sent to Cerner. These are still errored out. And after some time, Epic is sending the discharged patients. These have been sent to Cerner. What happens here? Like even before the patients have been admitted, if their discharge details have been sent to Cerner, similarly over here like this, 4 discharge details have been sent. If I click on Cerner, you can see all those details are of A04. I didn't change the data, but yeah, A03. I didn't update it here, but those are the details. You can see all of them are belong to A03. And our admit patients have been errored out in Epic. If I click on error, you can see all of the admit patients are errored out. So the problem is if you are sending discharges to the cerner even before they have been admitted, there will be a lot of issues and cerner will not be accepting that. The patient should always be admitted first with the A01, then only you can send any other trigger event. So that's where the problem occurs. Because you haven't selected queue settings on failure, it should be queued. So what happens here is like if you go to channels and if you go to epic and destination, you should always select queue on failure or queue always. You have selected never means that is directly going to error out messages. So what is the problem is like you should always select on failure. So the message will wait in the queue, wait in the queue in the mirth, but once the cerner is upright, automatically they will be sent to cerner. So the problem solves. So nothing will be waiting in the mirth forever. So if I go back, if I go here and we'll recreate the situation, similar situation, what I'll do, I'll remove all the messages now. Okay, REMOVELL, perfect. And I'll stop this for our understanding. I'll stop the same one and I'll remove the queue and everything. I'll change everything from scratch. Remove all messages. Okay, RE REMOVELL, perfect. And even I'll clear the statistics for this. Everything is zero. What we need to do is like go to Epic, go to destination, click on failure. I'll be explaining what are advanced queue settings later. That would be related topic. Click always on failure. So whenever the message will not be able to deliver from MERT to cerner, that would be queued up. So that wouldn't be errored out. If it is errored out, we need to manually resend them. If it is queued out, automatically it will be resent to cerner when the cerner server is up. I'll go and I'll deploy this particular thing. Now you can see the messages aren't errored out like the previous scenario. They have been queued out. Okay, what will happen now when the cerner is up? Automatically this message will be sent. Okay, we need to wait for a while on how much time it's going to take, but this will be sent. So this will not be in the error out situation forever. So meanwhile, if you go to OneNote settings and you can see these are not errored out anymore. These are queued in this scenario. QUEUED. Okay. And this will be sent to cerner after a few seconds. And if we go here, you can see automatically those messages have been sent to cerner. So that's the difference in selecting never or on failure. So right now it has been sent to cerner. It has been achieved. So in the next videos, we are going to learn on how much time it's going to take before sending to cerner. For example, it took like around few seconds for us, which we didn't watch. In next video, I'll be explaining on how much time it's going to take to reach cerner, whether we can make a custom properties for it. Thank you, and I hope you understand why we need to select on failure or always, why not never. So if you select on never right, the message will be errored out in Mirth, and the other messages will be going to Epic to cerner, which are not needed to cerner at that time, and everything will be messed up. It would be very complicated if you're working on like 1,000 messages or like 1 lakh messages per day. Everything will be done. So for example, we had a CrowdStrike issue, right? So all the messages might have been errored out in Mirth, and after the CrowdStrike issue has been solved, the rest of the messages like the discharge and everything will be sent to cerner, and actually admit patients will be inside Mirth itself. They have been errored out. So that's the basic mistake when we built a channel site. We do and we just end up selecting never, which will be a stock setting which will be coming from the Mirth, and we should never do that if you are working on a real-time projects. Thank you. I hope you understand what is the criticality of this small change, and we'll start learning on advanced queue settings. That would be really helpful in next session. Thank you.